Yo, sup, new log. So, I just wanted to make a log, because I had some thoughts. I wrote down some stuff, like, so I hardly do this for videos. I'm experimenting, I suppose, with this. So, basically, I'll just get stuck into it. I was thinking about hypnosis and consciousness as I do recently, or as I do auto suggestion to make myself do that more, because I want to understand something, so learning. And I was thinking about magic and like wizards and things, and like honestly my experiences with psychedelics makes me think like what is possible, and like what is possible with software, what is possible with consciousness, what is possible with language. And I feel like the reason I say this is because I feel like language is very powerful, and when you really examine it at a metaphysical level, language is kind of like, basically, in my eyes, the way I see things currently is that language is a technology that is designed to perpetuate behavior, and that is a technology, technically speaking, so in all actuality, it is a technology that nature has bestowed upon us or given to us, or it has arrived out of nature, or perhaps it is useful to use language hypnotically and easily in a way that makes sense in an intuitive way to human beings intrinsically with linguistic capacities. So that is to say that language really may be hypnotic in nature, and hypnosis really may be an advanced communication tool, which means we can get over things like faux pas and certain things like taboo subjects in terms of like being uncomfortable and alienated from yourself, because language and communication are really great things, and I feel like information is also a great thing. And I think being able to intellectually interface and regard with information, so to speak, allows you to easily hypnotically make incisions using language plus rhythms and your body movements and things like that, using your vocal apparatus or your vocal apparati, rather potentially, probably mechanistically speaking, because that is to say that humans comprise of many different things, and in one way, perhaps, and so compositionalities and constituencies and things. Speaking about constituencies, I was thinking about power and the notion of power being able to look at analytically, intellectually speaking, as something that can be broken down into constituencies. And so I hadn't really thought about power in that way before. Like, power may comprise of many different things within a sort of domain. And I was like, then, maybe power is a domain, like, because I saw it as a Galois field, because it's sort of like a definable field of values, I suppose. And so I think maybe power may be a field, mathematically speaking, or an L actuality, or just, to use language, it may be a field power. It also may be sort of a force as well. Maybe it's both, maybe it's a radiation in terms of frequency and energy that is perceptible and can be perceived plus talked about rationally from a human's perspective, and potentially that is a useful way to look at things. So, yeah, I was thinking, mythology, like what if oh, also, I made an X post earlier. I'll check out my X if you don't know about it. It's Alistair underscore is underscore I, capital A, capital I, and all the rest lowercase. And the is like a IZ. I made an X post earlier about, I think it was I think it was science. Maybe this was a different post, but anyway, since I'm talking about the science post now, or referring to it, um, the science post was like, can, maybe I didn't even post this. Maybe I just wrote it in a note, like an info doc that has value, probably. Like, selling information doc trader IDT. You know. Anyways, I was thinking about how science may actually. This actually helps me to get to my point. Really, science may usefully be able to be looked at as an auto-suggestion framework, as a hypnotic way to focus conscious attention. And given the nature of reality and what is known about reality, I think it makes sense that where your attention goes, information flows, and what you're perceiving is informational. Cos cogito ergo sum ergo proxy, like through your own senses, is the way you can know things or refer to things and relate to things. Like the informational nature of how you know things, basically, the informational nature of ontologies that people have. And so I feel like that is really plausible, to be honest, because it's like interesting, and it makes me think like, okay, well, to be a scientist, like, say that's the case, then how can I experiment? And I guess it gets me to think about like reality and wealth. So I feel like doing good things for good reasons is how one grows wealthy in life. And that leaves the question of like what is good to be defined. And I came up with this like easy test. It's like you have in certain circles, people may regard a good like way to gauge something. Like they may come up with something like a rubric to assess the competencies or something, or like to determine things about something, like a Likert test or some evaluation performance metric or something like that, in order to assess things and model things. Well, I feel like simplicity is great and powerful, and I do feel like this notion of a tripartite rule being powerful in terms of philosophical theories or theories of reality. I think that has to do with triangles in a geometric sense, and how 3 points in space and time is really rigid and robust, plus resilient and powerful, and things like about in engineering, triangles being like the strongest shape to utilize in architectures and designs and things, as far as I know. So my simple way to gauge whether something is good or not is just ask these like 3 questions, like, or like ask this question, like, does this thing that you're trying to assess, like if it's good enough, is this thing healthy, or like does it align with my viewpoints or my perspectives, or the way I perceive healthiness, wealthiness, and happiness, and honestly assess that in yourself, and that can help you to really calibrate in relation to realistic circumstances, allowing you to relate from an egoic bodily perspective, so you can exercise your agency in terms of being a human. I guess just to talk about something I heard recently on Neil deGrasse Tyson's channel, or maybe not his channel, that I found, called Space Talk, which was like a podcast on astrophysics and stuff, philosophy, astrophysics, like discussion, and they were talking about free will and determinism, the deterministic nature of reality, and like for or against free will, like does it exist or not. And I feel like that whole subject, it's more a matter of realizing you're a human being, and realizing that thinking is really powerful to a conscious being, and experientially you can use hypnosis to basically guide your mind in a way that language can be used for, technologically speaking, providing my theory checks out. So basically, like, you can perpetuate behavior with language. And so when you maybe look at science as a autosuggestive framework, it's a framework that's used to perpetuate hypnosis and hypnotic behavior, or behavior really, because that's kind of what hypnosis is for, I think. To a hypnotherapist, at least, to this hypnotherapist, at least. Hypnosis, not a thing wrong, just hip hop all day long. So, yes, business. I like being busy and being in a state of being busy because I enjoy doing the things I do in life, and I like living in congruence with reality, and that means being like water, my friend, kind of thing. Anyways, peace. I'll probably upload this